Anyone can write an ad, but only few can take a losing ad, analyze what's wrong, and turn it into a winning ad. I've been doing this for very long with brands we work with, so I'll show you how you can do the same using some live examples. In general, just for some context, if you have a losing ad, there can be only a few reasons why it is losing metric-wise, and the metrics tell you then what's actually wrong with that creative-wise. I have a longer video about how to analyze it. I will link it in the description, but basically there are just a few things that can go wrong. For example, one is if the hook rate is too low, usually we go for more than 30%. Two is if the hold rate is too low, usually we go for more than 10%. 3 is if the click-through rate is too low. 4 if the CPM is too high. 5 if the AOV is too low. 6 if the conversion rate is too low. If all of those metrics align, then you will have a winning ad, one that runs profitably at least, and ideally is also scalable. So we are right now in our testing and scaling CBO. Again, I have videos on this. One will be linked in the description, why the structure is really good and why you should use it. But in general, the way this works is that the best ads will get the ad spend from the CBO and the bad ads won't get ad spend. So if, for example, we look at some losing batches like this one that almost spent nothing in comparison to the other batches, then it's actually pretty hard to turn this into a winner, because this is an indication for the fact that this is pretty much a loser. And like here you can already see why. If we look at the click-through rate, the performing batches are at like 2.2, 3.7. This one is at 0.8. So something is pretty wrong. Also, if you have a low spending ad that has like a terrible hook rate, a terrible hold rate, a terrible click-through rate, like everything is terrible, I don't recommend even trying to turn them into winners, because it's like you have to build a completely different ad to improve all those metrics. But if you have an ad where all the metrics are in KPI, or almost all of them are in KPI, there's usually just one thing wrong that you need to tweak, and then it can turn into a winner. And let me show you such an example. So we take this split testing batch. This one spent 1.8K, so more than enough data. Then let's look at it. The click-through rate is pretty decent. Almost 2% like other winners. The CPM is also pretty decent, just $14. We don't have hook or hold rate because this is a static ad. So the only thing that can be off really if the CPM and the click-through rate is fine is the conversion rate or the AOV. The AOV is super good. It's a brand with expensive products, but the conversion rate is kind of low. It's usually higher. So we look into why this is actually the case. And here we will see the 3 different variations that we tested here. This is basically a split test. So here we have an ad that says still paying for the markup, buy pure 24 karat gold instead. Then this one saying why pay for the name, get pure gold instead. And then this one saying stop buying depreciating assets, wear your portfolio instead. The thing now is all the budget went towards this ad. So this by far has the best engagement. We can see like it has some engagement, and all the budget went to this specific split test, and it generated by far the most landing pages. But you can see that barely anyone checked out and nobody purchased at all, while the other variations actually even got a purchase with their little spend. The ROAS is still not high enough for this specific brand, but the question here is, okay, this ad is actually a high potential ad. It went into the account, it started spending quite a lot. So this should be a winner. Why is it not? We already have established that everything is correct, but the conversion rate, right? Because how can it happen that like usually we have a conversion rate of, well, around 1% when it's good, even like almost 2%. But from this one, we had 300 landing page views and not a single conversion. What is wrong with the conversion rate? And then we look at this, and in comparison, this is the creative analysis now. Like my hypothesis looking at this is that if we actually look at this ad, it says still paying for the markup, buy pure gold instead. Okay, so this is someone buys like from markup jewelry brands, then they get the ad, okay, buy actually pure gold. Makes sense. This one also says, well, why pay for the name? Buy gold instead. Okay, makes sense. But this one says stop buying depreciating assets, wear your portfolio instead. And we know that this is an ad, but a person who is a consumer who's just scrolling might be thinking, okay, this sounds interesting. Maybe this is an educational article. Maybe this is like some guide or something. They click on it and suddenly they go to a product page where they are supposed to buy something. And they're like, what's going on? And this is my hypothesis why the conversion rate on this one is so low. It's literally 0. So this is, so to say, clickbait, because it doesn't give enough context that actually you're supposed to buy something after you click on this. So the little tweak that I see here, because this is actually like, this is a winning headline, right? It spent most of the budget. So this is clearly the ad that is favored by the algorithm and that people most engage with. Well, in this case, we need a little tweak to actually resolve this low conversion rate. And my hypothesis is, again, that this is pretty much clickbaity and people don't know what they are getting to. So my little tweak that I think will turn this into a winning ad is adding a sub-headline here that says buy 24 karat jewelry or invest into gold jewelry. If we do this, we still hook people with this headline, which performs so well and creates a lot of engagement. But at the same time, we are transparent and clear that we are actually selling. And this will go to very different audience, people who are actually ready to buy, because Facebook optimizes based on who engages with the ad. And if it's a bit more salesy, this is basically not salesy enough because people are confused. If it's a bit more salesy, it will go to the right audience. So this is the hypothesis. This is exactly what you want to do and what you want to analyze. Basically, you always want to do that with ads that actually have the potential to become winning ads. So they have to be one of the top spenders. Now, when we have an ad that has, for example, a good click-through rate, but barely spent anything, it's much trickier, because this means usually that there is a fundamental misalignment. Like, many people like this ad and click on it, but that's in a percentage. In total, not many people are actually resonating with this ad, and this is why Facebook doesn't spend more on it and why it doesn't scale it more. So in general, if you want to iterate a losing ad and tweak it into a winning ad, you always want to do it with ads where the funnel is already almost on point and maybe only one metric is off. Now again, for reference, so you can do the same. If everything is on point but the hook rate is low, below 30%, you want to tweak the hook. If it's a top spending ad and the hold rate is low, which is 3 plays divided by impressions, then you want to either shorten the ad or mix in B-rolls to keep people longer engaged and watch to the end and watch your offer and CTA. If the click-through rate is low, this might be because of a low hook or a low hold. But if everything is on point and only the click-through rate is low, this might be actually a mismatch between audience and the language you use. Maybe because the market sophistication is not on point, maybe because the market awareness is not on point, something with the messaging. Maybe you even target a desire that is not really working for the market. If this is the case, you usually can't save the ad, because if you have strong messaging, people will at least click on it. And then if the conversion rate is low, this is the exact example we just looked at. We want to make sure the expectations from the ad to the landing page are actually aligned. So if it's a bad hook, improve it. If it's a bad conversion rate, improve it. If the click-through rate and the conversion rate is bad, or the click-through rate is bad, pretty hard to improve it. Probably a loser. Now, if you want someone to look that strategically at your ads and actually improve them, this is exactly what I do for e-com brands. If you want to work with me, click the first link in the description. Keep scaling. Bye.